My very special guest, Paul Sears, drummer extraordinaire, has played over 40 years with the best progressive experimental artists in the world. And Paul, thanks for doing this.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So let's just talk about your early career, your early days of how you got interested in drums.
Well, gosh,
I like,
I started playing in rock and roll bands in Washington, D.C. around 1967.
oh my gosh, wow.
Um, and very fortunately have been playing with people that write their own music since about 1972, you know.
Okay.
And there's just so much baggage there to unload.
I'm sure. Now, what drummers were you influenced by?
Oh, gee. Gosh. Buddy Rich, of course, who
Of
I took
course.
who I took clinics from. Gee,
Ginger Baker.
Christian Vander, very much.
Oh
Tony
yeah.
Williams, very much. Billy Cobham, very much.
Oh, I could tell your style is kind of like Billy Cobham, Lenny White. I noticed that. You have
Oh,
the
okay.
left hand on the on the hi hat, and you're playing the right hand. That's Billy Cobham's big style, but that's very versatile doing that.
Well, actually, I play the ride cymbal and the hi hat on the left side,
Okay, right. All right.
but the drums go around to the right.
Okay.
And a lot of people thought this was weird, and it just was something that was comfortable for me from an early age. And then years later, I saw, gosh, Mahavishnu in probably 71 or 72, and Billy Cobham sets up and plays exactly the same way.
How about that? Oh,
Yeah,
he was incredible on that tour.
yeah, but he's
Great.
on his ride cymbals on the left side
How
and
about
plays
that?
the hi hat on the left side.
I think Lenny White does that also. I think so. I don't
I don't
know.
know.
He
I don't
played
know.
the Return to Forever with Chick Corea, and then Stanley Clark. That was a pretty amazing fusion band. So anyway, so how did you get involved with how'd you start up the Muffins?
Well, that's a good story, and it's
Okay,
actually all covered in my book, Angels and
okay,
Demons That
uh,
Play.
okay,
But I was in a band at the time called Magic Theater back in 1975 and 1976, which was a really great band, sort of modeled after Electric Miles and Weather Report and that sort of thing.
okay.
And the Muffins had um, their guitar player and their drummer had quit, and they're out playing as a trio. And their guitar player contacted the bass player in my band Magic Theater and wanted to do some stuff with him. And um, he sort of discovered that Michael Zentner was his name. He
Right.
was into all this European, progressive rock and Henry Cow and so on. And my bass player really didn't know who they were. And he goes, "Well, I don't know those people, but my drummer is really into that stuff. So here,
Right.
give him a call." So um, um, Michael contacted me out of the blue, and
Right.
man, I'm going the wrong way here.
That's
And
a
um, talked to me about the Muffins and came over and played me all these cool, crazy tapes he had from his trip to England and with Henry Cow and so on. And um, he went and he introduced me to the Muffins. And I met
how
these
about that?
people. I met these people when they were playing as a trio, and I could not believe that out in this little podunk suburb of Washington called Gaithersburg, that there was this ridiculous music scene with all these people that were listening to the same stuff I was.
How
They
about
were
that?
all listening to Sun Ra and Faust and Henry Cow and all this stuff, and I,
Right.
I couldn't believe it. I'm like, you got to
That's
be kidding
something.
me. So I played. Long story short, I played with them a couple of times, and they asked me to join the band, which I did when I was at the ripe old age of 22.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
I love that Mama Mirage record. That is really very. That was your first record, right? Or was there something
That was
before
our
that?
first album. That was our first album.
That's a great
I
record.
had previously made a single with my band, Same Day, back in '72 when I was 19.
You guys were great. You had that kind of fusion, yet you had like a little soft machine in there, some Henry Cow, some really quick, like unorthodox riffs that were really unique for the time, especially an American band. Because I said I knew Henry Cow recommended records with but you guys were really unique.
No, thank you very much. We had kind of a rough go of it in the Washington area,
Oh, really?
but yeah, there was no scene to support that sort of thing, or
Right.
if there was, it was minuscule. Uh, and then a couple albums later, we made our first. We ended up playing on Frith's Gravity album.
Oh, I'm going to tell you, that's my favorite Fred Frith record. When I saw that on your list of recordings, I said, wow, I've always loved that record.
Me too. And then about a year later, Fred rang us up and suggested that he'd like to produce a record with us, and
Oh, okay.
that became my favorite record of ours ever, which is called 185.
Oh, yeah, I've heard some tracks from that.
That's my favorite record because that was the result of a perfect storm.
Oh,
Uh, we had written all that music. We'd been playing it for about a year, and then Fred came on the scene, and we had a short tour to do, and we played up and down the East Coast. And right after that, we did the record. So
oh, wow,
the
that's
band
great.
was extremely that's an extra. That's the band. I'm going to turn off my email. It's making
That's
too much
okay.
noise. But
So
that's
was that,
represents the band at our absolute peak of being tight. We were running on 16 cylinders, and we recorded that record in a big tape studio.
how about that?
We got the whole thing done, all the recording done in 2 days. Count them,
How
two
about
days,
that?
and then another couple days for overdubs and mixing and assembly and all that stuff.
Boy, that's very similar to when we did the Optimo record, our third EP. Same thing. We did it in 2 days. We went to Radio City Music Hall, had a studio back then.
Well, we were fortunate to be able to do that right after a small tour,
Oh,
so
that's
there was
very
no
bad.
question. No, the band was so tight. I mean, it was scary, and we knocked that thing out very
That's amazing.
quickly. And uh, you know, not 2 weeks later, we had a master done, and I was driving the master tapes up to Fred Frith in New York so we could master the thing at Frankfurt, Wayne.
Wow. Do you still keep in touch with Fred at
Yes,
all?
yeah. In fact, a while back, a 13-disc collector's set of the Muffins came out on cuneiform called Baker's Dozen.
Oh,
And
okay. Right. Okay. I saw
well,
that. The box set.
it comes with a 75-page booklet, and Fred wrote a very nice piece in it.
I got to pick that up. I
There's
tried.
even there's even a Japanese version.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, so you have Japanese fans. That's really good. Well, they like a lot of progressive music. The Japanese are very like musos. They're so into all types of music. It's extraordinary how much they love any type of unique American music. Yeah, I tried to get Fred on the show maybe in the future after he sees all the interviews I'm doing with different people. So you continued to play with the Muffins up to what, 2012? Are you
Well, the Muffins, the 185 version of the Muffins, the Man of Mirage 185 Air
right?
Fiction Muffins, split in 1981.
Oh, it did. Okay.
Yes. And we stayed in touch. We're still friends. We're still friends today. These are the brothers I never had.
Right.
And back in the early 90s, we had been getting together for reunion jam sessions at my house. And then Steve Feigenbaum came back on the scene and suggested a project for us, which was a record called Unsettled Scores, where cuneiform artists played other cuneiform artists' music.
Oh, okay.
And
That's
so we
neat.
recorded. A track for that, and I forget the name of it, but it's on the double CD, Unsettled Scores.
I love
And
his, yeah, I love his catalog of music. I mean, Steve
and then
really,
and then we stayed. We stay in touch. And
right.
then when the web came around, I got curious back in the mid '90s, and I started looking around for information about the Muffins, and I found an incredible amount of discussion about the Muffins.
How about that?
Oh, a couple
That's
hundred
great.
pages from news groups, from rec music, back when Alta Vista was going on, and rec music progressive and alt music progressive. And I looked at all this stuff and I went, Jesus Christ.
That's
So I
awesome.
wrote to the guys and I said, man, we should get together and do a reunion gig,
Yeah.
And we hemmed and hawed about that. And finally in 1998, it happened.
Oh, okay.
And we did a reunion show at Chief Ike's Mambo Room in Washington, D.C.
Oh, appropriate.
Small club.
Right.
But later came to prominence in the movie Enemy of the State with Will Smith.
Oh, about
That
that.
that club is in it, but they call it Captain Ike's.
Oh, wow. So that's
But
why
anyway,
you got in that movie.
so we did that gig, and it was so well received. We did another reunion gig in a much bigger venue the next year, Phantasmagoria in
Right.
Wheaton, Maryland, in 1999, and that went really well. So we decided, hey, geez, we should start, let's be a band again.
Yeah, right for
Everybody,
real, right?
everybody had their kids and paid their mortgages, and all
Right.
this stuff, and very fortunately, everybody was into it, so it occurred,
Oh,
and
wow.
we got back together, and out of the blue, we got invited to play. Well, we did these reunion shows, and then back in the year 2000, I started looking for out of town gigs.
Okay.
And I wrote to my friend Bruce Galanter, who runs the Downtown Music Gallery in New York City, and he does shows. He had
Oh, okay.
Hugh Hopper, and Nick Ditkovsky, and a bunch of other people played there. And I wrote to him, and he writes back and says, "You guys belong at the Knitting Factory."
Oh, there you go.
And I kind of went, nah. That's a heavy hitter club. Most of those people wouldn't know us. They wouldn't remember us. We hadn't played in New York in forever. And he cut me off and he said, no, the guy that runs the place is a big fan of yours. His
How
name
about that?
was Glenn Max. And on another note, which I'll get back to, he was directly responsible in reforming Vandergraaf Generator.
How about, wow. Now
Yeah.
that's amazing.
So anyway, so I write to Glenn Max and I tell him what I'm doing. And he writes back to me, wow, great to hear from you. Yeah, we'd love to have you guys at the Knitting Factory. We'll give you a Saturday night show in the big room, here in Tribeca.
Right.
And by the way, would you like to represent the Knitting Factory at this big festival in Rome called Villa?
Wow. Better yet.
Yeah, which goes for 33 days. I mean, that's a very big or it was a very big festival. I don't know if they're still doing it. But so we we went, yeah, and that was a big success. And we recorded the Knitting Factory show, and then we recorded the gig in Italy at the Villacella Montana Festival, and we also played at WFMU on the same day we played at the Knit.
Oh,
And
boy.
that's stuff from all that is on a CD that we did, which was our first release.
How about that?
Called Love Letter Number 1.
Okay.
And that's getting kind of hard to find, but that's a great document of the band right after we reformed, and it's got some good live performance on it.
I got to look for that.
And
Well,
then
go ahead.
and then we hunkered down and wrote the material A little bit of it was redundant, but it ended up being Bandwidth, which was our first post-reunion album on Cuneiform.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, I got to listen to some of these.
And about Cuneiform, we've known Steve Feigenbaum since he was a teenager.
Oh,
In
wow.
fact, no, he was well acquainted with the Muffins for a couple of years before I ever even met those guys.
Hmm. Yeah,
And
because
he's been a great.
he had a lot of European, like Universe Zero and Henry Cow and all types of unusual music. And you
Yes,
guys
that's
fit right
correct.
in, right
Yeah,
into
that's
that.
correct. Yeah, he's been a big supporter of ours for forever, and he single-handedly put together our 1980s archival release called Open City, which
Okay.
is an awesome record, and it's also the best vinyl press we ever had because it was
Hmm.
vinyl pressed by CBS in Holland, and
Oh,
it's an
okay.
excellent pressing, and it's also on CD.
But is
It's
that
it's out of
available?
print,
Can you
but
get
but you
that?
can still get it. You can still get all this stuff from Cuneiform as a download.
Yeah, I'm gonna put that at the on the description or everything where you could find your music because I'm sure there's people out there that love this kind of stuff, and that's who I'm catering to. People like yourself, extraordinary musicians and bands in the past era.
Well, then years go by, and we play Nearfest, and we play Knitting Factory again in 2002, and we did a couple more albums. We did uh, Double Negative, and we did Love Letter #2, which
Right.
was based entirely on a day of improvisation with two of the guys from the Sun Ra Orchestra, Marshall Allen and Noel Scott. That's
Hmm.
an awesome album,
Boy.
and that's
Okay.
available only on my Bandcamp page.
Okay.
I have a little boutique label called Fan Song where I
Okay.
put out like old weird stuff that I did that I can put out
Oh, I see.
because almost all of my work today, people pay me to play on their records, and I don't own the rights to it.
Right. Right.
And but some of it I can get the rights to, and I got some stuff on my Bandcamp page.
Oh, that's great.
And then back in 2017 or 18, I got to looking at the hundreds of CDs that are behind me here of Muffins archives.
Holy smoke.
Oh yeah, no, my personal archive going back to 1971 is about 500 discs.
Wow, that's
But
fantastic. Huh.
but um,
And
we
that's all
toyed
your
with the
music?
idea. We toyed with the idea of putting out a box set,
Right.
and we had a devil of a time agreeing on what is this thing going to be. Steve Feigenbaum again stepped up to the plate and caught wind of what we were doing and agreed to give it a whirl. And he made a couple of test discs, and we loved them. And we
Right.
said, "Okay, take it away, dude."
Right.
So he did. He marshaled the entire thing.
How about that?
Yes,
How,
yeah.
how many?
It's like 147 or 148 tracks of music, plus a DVD, plus a 75-page booklet.
Wow. And how many? So, and then how many discs are that? Box discs? You got three vinyl records or four? How many does that include? The box set, your
The
Muffins
box
box
set includes 12 CDs and a DVD.
Okay, let me shut this window. Sorry, the lawnmower is going here.
Okay.
You got some sound now. You got some actual experimental sound in the background. So
Wow.
anyway, so that's amazing. Now you played with David Allen too, right?
Well, there's a backstory to that.
Okay.
Were you aware of the Zoo Festival in New York in
Yes.
1978?
Yep, I
Well,
heard of it.
we played at that,
Okay.
and in fact, there's one, count 'em, one track that we played from at the Zoo Festival that's on the box set.
Wow.
It's the only thing that's ever been released from that festival
How about that?
because it was very badly recorded, and we had to do a lot of tarting up to get it even as sounding as good as it does. Which a lot of people, some people think it's horrible, and some people think it's great. I love it, so it's great. Um, but anyway, not long after Zoo, David Allen decided to form something called, he wanted to call New York Gong.
Okay.
And he asked Al Hertzberg, who was in Manchester. He was in the house band at CBGB's for a long time.
Right.
And he and his brother played at the Zoo Festival as Robal.
Okay.
And so David asked Alan, Laswell, Mike Beinhorn, and I to be New York Gong.
How about that?
This was in 1979.
Okay.
So I went up to New York to have a rehearsal with them, and it was chaos.
Okay.
And, you know, they wanted to like do a tour, and they had really no plan.
Oh,
And
boy.
that I dropped out, and so did Alan Hertzberg. And the only recording of that band that exists is in my possession.
How about that?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I've only let out 2 copies of that in my life. One to David's son, what's his name, Orlando,
Right.
and one to David's producer, Don Falcone, who, in fact, I got to play. I was very honored that they asked me. I got to play on David's last album, David Allen Weird Quartet.
Oh, you did? How about that?
Yeah, I played on that. In fact, that just got repressed on gold vinyl by Cleopatra Records.
How about that?
Like the other day. That's like new.
That's brand new. I got to look for that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm going to buy one and frame it.
And what's the music like on that? The last record, is it?
It sounds like a cross between University of Errors and Gong.
How about that?
It's a great record. I'm very happy. I'm proud of it, and I was happy that David was okay with my playing on it.
Oh, he's a legend. You know, I interviewed Charles Hayward. He also played with David Allen. And Theo Travis.
Charles is awesome. I've
drummer.
only ever hung out with him in France when we both played at the RIO.
I think you'll enjoy the interview I did with him, because he goes into all this, how he does all these solo shows with his drums and his feet. And
Yeah.
he's
Yeah,
extraordinary.
he did a great one at the RIO Festival when we played with him in 2009.
Yeah, he's extraordinary. Now, you played with Bill Laswell, too, a lot, right? You said you had
Yeah, he's in Massacre with Bill Laswell and Fred Frith.
Right.
I don't know
Bill,
if that's still going, but they made a few albums together.
Bill has a studio about an hour away here in West Orange, House of Music, right? Did you record there in West Orange with Bill?
Who, Bill?
Yeah.
I don't know. He's had some pretty deleterious health problems lately, and I don't know what he's doing now.
Oh, sorry to hear that. That's tough.
Yeah, just Google Bill Laswell health. You can read about it.
Oh boy, that's not good. And then you also played with Michael Manring. I know him, his music.
I played with him. Yeah, the guy that published my book, a guy named Ken Kaufman. The funny thing is, I've known Manring since the '80s.
Okay.
When he was in a DC band called Natural Bridge.
Oh, okay.
I met him way back then, and we've never played together, but we know each other from running into each other backstage at festivals all over the place.
Yeah, he's unique. Very unique player.
Wonderful. Yeah. So he came to my studio in Arizona a couple years ago, and we got a whole day's worth of really cool recording done. And I don't know if I can ever do anything with it, but it's really cool.
Yeah, I was going to have him work on one of my songs, but he's pretty expensive to get to play on a record. I guess when you're in that category of musicianship, you know.
So am I.
I know, I imagine. So you do a lot of session work? Do you do?
Well, I'll tell you a funny story. I got approached earlier in the year by a guy named Tank Van Dool.
Okay.
Who lives in California.
Okay.
And he paid me very good. I liked his music. See, I won't play on music I don't like for money.
Well, that makes sense.
You know, that's just the way I am. If I'm not comfortable with something that I play on, that I'd be scared to play it for my family or my friends, I won't do it.
Okay.
Anyway, this guy asked me to make this record, and we worked on it. It was actually became more of a collaboration even though he did pay me quite well. But the record came out and it's stunning. It's called A Periodic Grok by Tank Van Dool and me and
I
Paul
know, I
Sears.
downloaded it. It's really good.
Well, you can't download it anymore because
I know, you told me that.
it just got picked up by Deco Entertainment, which is Warner Brothers.
Oh, wow. Good for you.
Yeah, they're linked to
Congratulations.
Warner's. Look up Deco Entertainment. They're a Warner partner.
I felt like a soft machine, Henry Cow. It was like a really blend of like, but you had your own sound on that. But
I think it's a little heavier than that though. It's more
Yeah.
rotten, you know. But
Right.
I'm really pleased with that record. But now it's the property of Deco, and we're waiting to see how that's gonna pan out.
Are you going to be able to play live with him for this?
That's funny you would ask that because the bass player in my band here that I have kind of an étron fou sax,
I know
bass,
that.
and drums trio, and my bass player is learning the material from that album.
Okay.
And Tank and I were discussing ways to be able to actually do that live.
That's going to be great. So I would love to see you if you play up here in out here in the East Coast.
Yeah, well, you know, Deco was right in your backyard.
Oh, right. How about
They're-
that?
They're headquartered in Stockton.
How about that? I never knew
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So what do they put out? Like experimental type music or?
You need to go to their website and have a look.
I'm gonna check it out.
They've got Nectar on their label
Oh, they're great.
and a whole bunch of 80s rock.
Hmm.
Some of which is really cool. A lot of it I'm unfamiliar with, but I was frankly stunned when they wrote to me and said, "We love this. This is right up our alley. What can we do to help?"
Oh,
And
wow.
I said, "Yeah, you can send us a contract."
Right.
And it took about 4 days, and they did.
Yeah, because usually the foot is on the musician begging the label.
Well,
hey, pick me up."
we tried all the usual suspects. We tried
Right.
a bunch of labels, and none of it was going to pan out. And then this Deco thing came, flew in the window. Like, what? My God, really? You know? So we're really excited about that and waiting to see. Well, we're still waiting for the wheels to turn and the propagation and the onboarding.
Right.
You know, of all the material and for them to tell us, you know, how they're going to market it and all that stuff. And we're going to, of course, help market it, of course, you know.
Right.
Deco, go Deco Entertainment.
Yeah, I'm going to promote it myself. I'll make a big deal of it on the description and
Yeah, because they're a Jersey enterprise.
Wow. How about that?
Yeah.
And I want to ask about your drum kit, the custom cymbals you have. Those are really unique. Did you have those made for you? Were those?
A couple of them were specially made for me in China a long time ago.
They are great.
My old friend Fred Klatz, who used to run the drum counter at Manny's in New York, hooked that up for me. And then I got a couple of the larger Wuhan cymbals, which I don't even know if they make them anymore, but they're 27 and 28 inch Chinas. I like big cymbals.
Yeah, I know. I could see from your kit.
Yeah, I got into those because Christian Vander uses similar, and I love the sound. I love his cymbal sound.
Oh, he's amazing. You know that he really knows how to get the rolls and everything.
And he's a good guy.
Maybe he'll do an interview. I don't know. I was a big Bill Bruford fan as a kid, younger. That's who I really and the early Phil Collins with Brand X. I mean, those were some really good records too.
I remember when Brand X toured, and Kenny Denard was playing drums.
Oh wow, he's amazing too.
Yeah, well, he got so sick of hearing it, he got a T-shirt made that said, "Where's Phil?"
How about that? Oh man,
I remember that. Yeah, right.
So a couple more things before we go. I want to ask you about Mike Potter.
Mike Potter
Yeah.
should have his own statue in Baltimore.
How about that?
He has done more for interesting music than any other single human being in the entire state.
Okay.
Orion Studios is a gem.
How about
A
that?
gem.
And there's,
Yeah.
is that still running or is he
Oh yeah.
retired?
Yeah. He
Still
has
running.
sold it, but he's still involved with it. And last time I looked, they're still doing shows. They still have the studio there. Um,
No,
Christ.
he has an observatory too, right? He's into astronomy.
Yes, he is an astronomer,
How
and
about that?
he has an observatory at his house.
That's amazing.
Well, he used to work for a NASA subcontractor. He was a
Okay.
professional astronomer for a long time.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
but Orion's wonderful. If you ever have a chance to get down there, do it. You
I'm
know,
gonna try because I have a record I'm trying to mix, so maybe I'll talk to them about it. I'm sure they do great work. I
he
mean,
does do great work.
okay, that's
Yeah,
good to
he
know.
does do great work. He's been involved with a lot of projects that Dave Newhouse has done lately.
Oh, wow, okay.
Hmm.
So I can't think of anything else, Paul. I mean, your book is still available?
Yes.
Okay,
If you
good.
go to my website, paulsears.net, go to the book page,
Okay,
and
book
it'll
and
tell you a little bit about it, and it has a link directly to my publisher. If you buy it from my publisher, it comes with a CD,
oh,
and it's
okay.
got a sampling of music that I've done from 1980 up till 2017 or 18.
Okay,
Jerry Goodman's on it.
okay.
Uh,
Oh, I can't
Tom
beat
Webb,
that.
Tom T.S. Henry Webb from The Flock is on it. John Sindelman is on it. Uh, uh, Judge Smith, who was one of the founders of Vandergraaf
Oh,
Generator,
yeah, of
he's
course.
on it.
Good.
It's star studded. David Allen's on it.
And that comes with the book, right? The
Yes,
CD.
if you buy it from the publisher.
Okay.
If you buy it from Amazon, it does not come with the CD.
Oh, okay. No, I'm gonna get it from the publisher. That's
Yeah.
very unique. That sounds like a great thing. So the future, you're just gonna do more work with your current partner there, Van Dool, and then
Yeah,
do a tour.
we're talking about that right now, given
Okay.
the added momentum from Deco Entertainment. You know,
There you go. Go Deco.
yeah, go
Go
Deco.
Deco.
Yeah.
So
So
it's been a real pleasure here, Paul. Thank you for doing this, and I'm going to keep this show going because people like you out there, you're creative and still doing music, which is really good,
yeah,
and putting out great stuff.
yeah, I'm very fortunate in that department. I've been able to work with some very fine musicians over the years.
I know. I looked at your list of collaborators. I was like, wow, there's some great people here.
Yeah, I've been very fortunate in that department, and I thank everybody.
Yeah,
You know?
that's it. Well, it's great that what you've done. Oh, anyway, so Paul, thanks for doing this. I'll probably put this up in a couple days, and if you have any more links you want to send over besides your page, or I'll put something on the label too. Or is that on the label? Your new record should be on there, right?
Well, no, the new record it's on my web page, but
Okay.
that's not. You know, we had to haul it off Bandcamp after we signed the
Okay.
contract with Deco.
Right. Okay.
So
Well,
the
we'll
few
highlight.
the few CDs that we actually made are now collector's items.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure of that. Oh well, got to get your going rate if I need you on some drum tracks someday. Paul, what are you charging today? Well, for you, Dennis, maybe I'll give you a few dollars off.
Actually,
I'm
it's
kidding.
always on a case by case basis.
I know, I'm kidding.
Yeah, it's always on a case by case
Right.
basis. But
So,
it depends on it depends on what it is and how much of my time it's going to take.
well, that's true. Time is money. That's true. Your time is valuable, like everybody's. So, especially in music, because it seems like when you're in the studio, it goes fast, and in time, there's no such thing as time all of a sudden. You know, because you're in there and trying to get stuff done. Sometimes fast, slow. I guess it depends.
You know, I like having control of it myself. I have a really nice